So I'm going to give you a demonstration of the Sermon Illustrator and how it works. I've used ChatGPT to help brainstorm sermon illustrations many times, a few times, but it wasn't really that great. The experience was awkward. I had to customize things a lot and force it to do what I was thinking. And so I decided to pre-program a number of things into it. Like, here's how I'd like you to respond every time, even when I just give a short prompt. So I'm going to give you an illustration or an example of that, a kind of a walkthrough. So if I say, I want a sermon illustration for Romans 16. So he says, let's first pinpoint the key themes that you're interested in. Here's some of the themes: Christian unity, personal greetings and commendations, importance of avoiding those who cause divisions, and the power of God to establish us according to the gospel. Let's say, I want the power of God to establish us according to the gospel. Okay? So let's work with that. And so focusing on that from Romans 16, let's look at the illustrations. So he starts in, and what it's designed to do is do 15 areas with 2 examples under each. So I say, give me some historical stories. So it says, hey, Martin Luther at the Diet of Worms, the conversion of the Apostle Paul, which is the ability to transform lives. Examples from science: the transformation of caterpillars into butterflies, stability of Earth's orbit. You can see how what he's trying to do is just help brainstorm, open up my mind and think, okay, here's some ways in which this could be illustrated, or some connections, right? So social sciences, the concept of resilience, okay, all right, so any of these things you can ask for more information about, so I'll do that in a moment. The placebo effect, power of belief in shaping our reality, right? So that's an interesting, I hadn't thought of that idea. Handel's Messiah, the Lordship of Jesus, the power of God to inspire through the gospel, okay. The Sistine Chapel ceiling. So some of these, like art or music, I don't know if there's something in that or not, but it's an interesting way to look at it. So literature or movies, Les Miserables, okay. So redemption and transformation through grace. Metaphors, the architect and the building, okay. So building on a firm foundation, the solid ground of the gospel. How the gospel holds us firm and secure. So it uses metaphors, picks up these metaphors. Are there metaphors you could use to illustrate this? Poetry or quotes. So it has 2 of them. I'm not afraid of storms, so I'm learning how to sail my ship. Louise May Alcott. My phone is blowing up this morning, I'm afraid. So first century Roman or Greek culture. This is interesting. The Pax Romana. It doesn't always get this one right. So I told it to do in first century Roman or Greek culture. I said, find something that is the opposite of it in first century Roman or Greek culture. In other words, the world that they lived in, that Paul wrote in, what's something that wasn't like this? And so while Roman peace established external order, the gospel offers a deep internal peace and stability that only God provides. That's interesting. It's actually doing pretty well there. So the Pax Romana was a forced peace, a forced stability. You either behave or we'll come in and kill 10% of your people. We'll decimate you, right? And so in that way, this is the opposite of a real peace, right? Man, that's interesting. So stoicism, self-sufficiency and endurance, but the gospel teaches us our true strength comes from relying. Okay, all right, yeah, that's doing pretty good actually. So good job, ChatGPT or Sermon Illustrator. The Christian culture in the first century, so the early church's growth. He talks about the Council of Jerusalem, biblical parallels, okay? So he picks up on the wise and foolish builders, that's neat, and conversion of Lydia, okay, that's interesting. Current events, so sometimes it's like, I can't find anything for this, current events. Sometimes it will find something that's more, in the last few years. So it's ChatGPT is not trained on anything before the year 2022, I think it is. So it doesn't always get something. Parable of the bamboo. This is interesting. Bamboo must be cut down and emptied to be used. That's an interesting thing. And then the phoenix. I asked it to do this because sometimes there can be parables or folklore or fables, Aesop or something, that can kind of help people understand or connect to things. Cultures around the world. So kintsugi, repairing broken pottery with gold. An African Ubuntu philosophy, community and interconnectedness. Now, the interesting thing is, if you don't know what these are, you can actually ask for more information. So, U.S. history, the Great Awakening, and then here's Abraham Lincoln's faith, then the story of Eric Liddell, and then teamwork in sports. All right, so these are 15 areas. And it says, would you like any more detailed information on any specific illustration, or is there a particular area you'd like to explore further? So let's just say, tell me more about Japanese kintsugi. Okay, so what it's going to do is now it's going to expand on that. So you can ask this. I could have asked this about any of the things. It's going to expand on it, kind of give me a little bit of extra information about it. So is the Japanese aesthetic principle of wabi-sabi, okay, and here's how it works. Here's the connection to the gospel. So it offers how this connects to the idea, and then it gives further reading in case you'd like to go on and take on any kind of thing. You could search for this article. And then it says, would you like me to generate an image you could use for a presentation or PowerPoint? So yes, please. Okay. It didn't respond. Okay, let's see what I did wrong here. Let's see. Yes, please. Oh, there we go. Okay. It just took it a second to respond. All right, so now it's creating an image. So in all honesty, sometimes these images, it's like they don't get it right. You can ask it to regenerate another image, which maybe I'll show you depending on how this looks. But it sometimes is something helpful, and sometimes you can have, it'll give you one. So, okay, here we go. Interesting. So it's supposed to give me, please make that image 1920 by 1280. Okay, and now it'll re-render and create another image. So this is, the idea, and you could download this immediately. Of course, it's because it's created by ChatGPT. It's not copyrighted, and that image has never existed before. But that's a neat it's a neat opportunity to be able to immediately put something visual into your PowerPoint for the day. Okay, there we go. So now it's made it the size of PowerPoint. All right. So anyway, that's a neat. Now you can go back and you can say, actually, I also want to know more about. Let's say I want to know more about the Pax Romana. Okay, so let's say, tell me more about the Pax Romana, and it will. Okay, so here's some key features of the Pax Romana. So then it says, here's the theological implications. While it brought many earthly benefits, it also offers contrast between peace established by human governance and the deeper, more profound peace offered through the gospel. So I programmed this to tell me things. Now, I don't know whether it will always nail this or not, because I haven't seen examples of it missing it so far, but it could. I programmed this to be theologically conservative. All right, I said, do you know what theological conservatism is? And I said, yes. It said, yes. I said, please explain that to me. So it did. And I said, I'm theologically conservative, because it got it right. And I said, I'm theologically conservative, and I'd like anything you generate to reflect my theological conservatism, that I believe the Bible's the Word of God. I believe it's the pattern for our life. I tend to take it literally and make it real, and I believe that the gospel and personal faith is important and all those kinds of things. So I asked it to do that. So far, it's been doing really well. So let's say yes, please. So would you like me to generate an image related to that? It gives you a couple of places here where you could learn more about the Pax Romana if you wanted to do that. And then I've asked it to generate an image that reflects the Pax Romana. All right, so who knows what it will come up with here? So we'll see what it says. Here it comes. All right, here's the Pax Romana. There it is, folks. So aqueducts and roads, a peaceful and prosperous Roman city, okay, and and illustrates the architectural achievements and harmonious atmosphere, but you can use it to talk about the false peace of government combined with the real peace of knowing Christ. And anyway, so those are interesting ways to establish. You could go back and you could do more. You could say, give me more information about any of these. And so, but that's what it does. I just thought I'd do a quick demonstration on Romans 16, since that's what I'm preaching this morning. All right. God bless you guys. You have a great day.